Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Eat and Talk. Thank you for joining me today. Really excited to get into this, you guys. First of all, assalamu alaikum to my guest.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
You guys, I am so excited that this is happening because we've been talking about this for a while. And I just want to say, I really want to give Binta her flowers while she's here. She has just come such a long way. And I'm, only in the span of a few months since I've met her, just to see her journey and her growth. And for you guys to kind of learn about her experience and what she does today, I think is going to really add value to my viewers. So thank you for coming. I know I love when I get first timers, people who have never done this before. They're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. But I think she's going to do awesome. So first and foremost, Binta, I'll let her introduce herself, but she is the founder of Hijama Cupping. And the official name is
Hijama Holistic Health.
Hijama Holistic Health. And I'll let you explain more so what that is and a little bit more about hijama. So welcome, Binta. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
Thank you, Yusra. My name is Binta. My full name is Fatmata Binta Ba. So many people know me by different things. Some people know me by Fatmata, some people know me by Binta, but usually my close people know me by Binta. And my whole life I've been called Binta at home.
Yeah.
So that's what I go by. Yeah. I am originally from Sierra Leone. I was born in Sierra Leone, grew up a little bit in Germany, and then moved to America 19 years ago.
Wow. And you can speak German, right?
I do speak German.
Yeah.
Even though it's rusty now, but I used to speak it fluently while I was there for sure.
That's awesome. And I'm always curious, just as immigrants when we travel, how was that experience like being an African in a country in Europe?
I have to say, I was very happy there. Mm-hmm. I was there between the age of 14 and 22, I think. I was very happy. So I had very close friends who were like my sisters. I had some family there. My friends were my support system. We were everything for each other. So it made me grow up a lot in ways that perhaps my age group at the time may not have had the chance to grow. It exposed me also to a whole lot of different things. Alhamdulillah, for my upbringing, it really showed me who I am.
Yeah.
It's really impacted me. At the same time, it showed me who I am. Yeah. Because I think people's upbringing, you may not know what you're doing to your child, but if you leave that child in the desert, for example, how will that child do? Will that child survive based on just what that child learned from 1 through 13, for example? Mm-hmm. So my upbringing, alhamdulillah, for that, I thank my mother, my father, and the rest of my family for everything I had. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about, growing up, now you moved here, obviously, to the United States, and what your journey was like and how you found your purpose and what that was like.
I love that question. I think growing up, I really wanted to get into that. I think I've always been a bit of I will call it spiritual person.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's something I learned or it was just something innate within me. Because I have siblings, we all grew up in the same household and I don't think they're the same. Mm-hmm. So for example, growing up, I would have dreams and they would happen, like just things I wouldn't think about. I would tell my mom, I forget about it. And a few days later, something would happen. She would like, do you remember what you dreamt? I'm like, what? It just happened. Literally happened from A to Z exactly. So stuff like that. I would pray a lot. Like my mom will call me, come and pray with me. And I just had that connection with Allah. I really just had, like, if something was bothering me, let's say I lost my keys or I lost my mom's keys, I'll go in the corner and read Ayat al-Kursi. Ya Allah, help me find my keys. And I would find them.
Yeah.
Or if something was going on in the household that was not good, I'll just go in sujood and just ask Allah to make it easy and it will be easy. So I just had, I think, a connection that I will call spirituality that always kept me through.
Yeah.
And I think that is what kept me through as well when I lived on my own at some point in Germany. And that's, of course, to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And wow, that's remarkable. I'm someone also, every time that I close my eyes, I dream, like whether it's a nap or whether I sleep. And whenever I tell my friends, they can't relate because they're like usually they'll have dreams once in a while, like
Yeah.
occasionally. But me, I have a dream every single time. So I understand that spiritual connection, and my dreams don't always come true, but I feel like they have a meaning because it does align with like my life somehow, some way. So I absolutely love that. So based off of that, you know, you're right now you're in the services that you provide is holistic hijama.
Yeah.
How did your spiritual journey connect you into kind of, you know, turning this into a purpose, but also an entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. So that's the thing. So growing up as well, I had migraines my whole life. It was just something I inherited from both my parents. They had migraines. I remember once in Germany, I had such a bad migraine. I literally collapsed and I was hospitalized for days. They did all sorts of tests thinking perhaps it's a tumor or something. At that point, they released me after doing everything they could. They're like, you just have inherited migraines and there's not much you can do about it. So you know, I just managed it, taking medications, doing whatever I had to do for the moment to just make sure it goes away. So when I came to the United States, I would say is when my holistic journey started. So I would take medications, it would feel better, but again, it will come. Sometimes I had several days migraines. I mean, I will take it, I'll feel better for 4 hours and it would come right back. So it was not really gone, it was there. So when I was having my first child, I was told that I had a blood disorder. I'm like, how did that happen? They said some medications may cause that. So I realized it was the medications I had been taking for my migraine that had caused a blood disorder, which was very concerning. So I had her, alhamdulillah, safely, but they were very worried that something else could happen to me.
Right.
So that was the journey. That was when I decided I cannot keep taking medications. I have to do something else. So at that point, I started just researching what else can I do to help myself. I started just looking into holistic therapy in general. So at that point, I found a doctor. The first doctor I met was an Asian doctor. I'm not sure which country he was from. So I remembered walking into their office and he was just walking out with a client and he saw my eyes. They were just dark and red. And he literally just came towards me. He grabbed my neck. He literally grabbed my neck and just pressed at a point that I knew. He knew what he was doing. I did not know what he was doing. And I'm just looking at this man. He just kept pressing. And I'm like, what is happening? And he's like, oh, your eyes are getting clear. Oh, you're getting oxygen again. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? Literally, I could see clearer. I felt like my headaches literally went away.
Wow.
And I did not know what happened. That was just an epiphany of some kind. And I saw him that day and he's like, yeah, you have to just really do different things differently. So he did acupuncture, he did different things. He helped me one day, and then the next time I came, they told me Dr. Song had moved away, and I was crying.
Oh my goodness.
I said, Dr. Song cannot leave me.
Yeah.
I just found Dr. Song. I need Dr. Song. So at that point, I started looking for other practitioners who did the same, and it really helped me. Literally, that was the first time I had a migraine relief for a long period of time. I regained a quality of life that I had not known in a very long time. And that is just life-changing for someone who suffers from migraine on a continuous basis and on a very frequent basis. When you don't have migraines, trust me, your life is so different because when you have migraines, you start thinking, I wish I didn't have migraine. I would do this, I would do that. So all those things that it hinders you from doing. And now not having them that frequent, all the things, the energy I have, I'm like, I thank Allah for this. This is a blessing. We really must take advantage of time and our health when we have it because we may not always have it.
Yeah.
And there's a hadith about that as well.
Yeah.
So that's where my holistic journey started. From that point on, I decided medications are not the way to go for me. It's holistic therapy. And when I was having my second child, I had terrible sciatica again. I did the same thing and it helped. I had it, but it was very much controlled and it's, I was able to live my life in a way that was comfortable. So it continued. So 2 years ago, I was watching, I don't know what I was watching. Something was going on in my life. It was a hard time 2 years ago. And I saw a commercial about hijama, to learn hijama, the perfect sunnah. And I looked into hijama. I mean, I knew what it was. It was like cupping and wet cupping. I knew that. But I did not know the Islamic term for it, nor did I know that connection of it in Islam. And I looked into it. It was just something that connected my heart to it immediately. It was as if I have been waiting for you. This is what I've been waiting for. Literally, I started my course the next day. I finished in 2 months. I would not sleep at night. So my husband would be sleeping. I would be on my phone just going through all of my coursework. I did not stop. It was just something, my heart connected with it so much. I knew it was a calling. So today I know it's a calling because when I see when I see clients and they report how they feel, I think it's a blessing. It's a blessing that Allah called me to it and that he chose me to do it, to deliver the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is such an honor. And I'm so honored to just do it on anyone and whomever I can help, because I see a lot of people who come in with pain and they leave with laughter. That's everything for me. Yeah. I just remember the times when I had pain and someone took that pain away. Yeah. So that for me, it's a very honorable thing to be able to do. Yeah. So I'm honored to be able to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so remarkable to hear your journey of how your life really transitioned after you stopped taking medication and you took more of a holistic approach. Yeah. So for my non-Muslim viewers, can you explain what hijama is? And even for my Muslim viewers, what hijama is, the benefits and what it means in Islam?
So in Islam, the hijama is a sunnah. It was not mentioned in the Quran, but it was mentioned in the hadith. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do it himself. People used to do it for him. He was not a copper. The coppers do it on him. And there's several hadith that support that. And apparently on his journey to Isra al-Mi'raj, the angel said he should recommend hijama for his ummah, which is, I think, one of the biggest supports for hijama. And apart from him having it done on himself, he used to have headaches apparently, and he had it done on himself. So if he did it because he knew it helped and the angels told him to ask his ummah to do it, I think that's all the evidence personally that I need.
Yeah, 100%.
To do it.
Yeah.
And of course, during that time, they did it differently. For example, from my knowledge, they used like the horns of animals back then to create that suction on the skin. And now with time, that has changed. We have like cups that we use, and we use like pumps, so that, because I think back then, I don't know if they used heat to like create the vacuum, or perhaps even use the mouth to pump to suction out the air. So I'm not exactly sure how they did it back then, but they did it. And they create scratches on the back and release that blood that is toxic. So for today, to just go back a little bit, so hijama, we call it hijama. It is something the Chinese and the Asians have also practiced. So it's in their culture, it's centuries old in their culture. They call it cupping, they call it wet cupping. And we also use those terms because people just know it by those terms as well. So now there are different methods of doing it. We start with cupping. Cupping is just like putting the cup, the round cup on the body, suctioning the cup and putting it in place. So once you put it in place, literally the blood, the toxic blood that's in the body gathers, and that suction, that negative pressure, if let's say you have it in a place that has pain, it helps release the muscles underneath, and it just helps with pain. If you only do that, it helps with pain. Now hijama takes it further. We remove the cup and we do little scratches with the blade after cleaning it up properly. We do little scratches on the skin, and then you put the cup back and redo that same suction. That's when you literally see the blood come out. Yeah. If you don't do that, you don't see the blood come out. The blood, you would see the scratches, but you will not see the blood. So that's another thing. And then people will see the blood come out. They're like, Subhanallah, this was in my body, and all sorts of things you will see. A lot of different things.
I'm not big on blood. She knows I get very like,
And that is what really, I think, scares a lot of people from doing it, the blood part. But if you go through the whole process, I've seen a whole lot of people recently who have done it for the first time because someone from their family came and did it. They're like, Subhanallah, I can't believe I waited all this time to do it. I'm bringing my sister, I'm bringing my mom, I'm bringing my auntie, and they did. Literally, getting over that fear, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's really, number one, it doesn't hurt at all, at least not with me. I talk you through the process. I make you know what I'm doing. And it's just a suction. So my kids use the cups at home and play with it. They suction each other. That's how silly it is. It's really simple and it does not hurt. It should not hurt. If it hurts, you should tell the practitioner to release it because it can always be adjusted. And apart from that, that's it.
Yeah.
The scratches, some people may feel a scratch, some people may feel a tickle. Some people are hypersensitive, might feel maybe a little bit more, but that's it. And I'm the only one who sees the blood. As in, I'm the copper. I'm the one seeing the blood. And if you don't want to see it, you don't have to see it. It's really not as bad as people make it seem. And I think we need to really, if it's something you need to do, number one, apart of it being a sunnah, if you have any sort of pain, you must try it. Instead of taking so much medications, if you are on medication, I highly recommend try it.
You told me one
hurt.
time it basically treats everything but death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that again is the hadith, right? That honey, black seed, and cupping, these things, they treat everything but death. So what do we understand from that? That it can heal you from anything. So we've had, so the school I went to, we have, for example, all the students, we have a forum where people have all these difficult situations that they come across, saying, oh, I'm coming across this for the first time. Has someone seen this before? Because always you will get to see something you've never seen before. And always someone else will tell you, oh yeah, this is what I did and it was gone. So there will always be somebody in that group coming and saying, oh yeah, I handled it this way and it was just fine. So that having that support system, if you come across something you've never come across before, which is just, it can happen. It's a big support system that we have, which I'm really thankful for. But the amount of things that people have been cured from, including cancer, I'm not now advocating if you're on chemo to stop your chemo, any of that. So this does, by the way, when I speak on behalf of Hijama, I'm not saying you should not see your doctor.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Legal medical advice.
You absolutely still need to see your doctor. You know what's going on in your life. This is something you can use. If nothing you think is wrong with you, it can be used as preventative. That toxin that comes out, we don't know what is coming out and what that's preventing you from in the future. So we recommend to do hijama like once or twice a year, just because pollution alone is enough for toxins. So the food we eat, they have lots of GMO. We don't know exactly what we're eating, how clean it is. We have a lot of toxins. So there's so many toxins that we have taken in, we have breathed in, that you can be cleansed from. So I can only have pro for hijama and I have no con whatsoever. So if you need some convincing, call me. I'll help you. Or now what we've started doing, obviously, are testimonials from people who've done it for the first time, how they felt, and really, like, would they have done it differently? And many say yes, they would have come much sooner.
Yeah. Well, I'll be one of those testimonies soon, inshallah, because I'm going to put my fear to the side and I'm going to try it because Lord knows I have migraines, back pains, a chronic illness. So a lot of things. So I think that's really amazing. And like you said, I mean, we've heard of cupping for a long time and wet cupping. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the pharmaceutical and traditional medicine and why this type of treatment is not advocated for or suggested.
Very good question. So I don't know why. Number one, I have to be careful what I say. I'm not sure who's going to see this podcast, right? Someone from, I don't know which pharmaceutical might see this and, but to speak on what I believe, I believe that many medications out there should not be used the way they're being used. Now, if those medications are obviously not there, the pharmaceutical companies would not make money, right? And I'm pretty sure they need to make money. I mean, sometimes they do research on one thing, they spend a lot of money to make it up on something else. Now, that's not my advocacy. So I don't know their why, But I think our why, number one, as Muslims, should be that this is Sunnah. Our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has advocated that we do. This alone should be a why and a reason for us to do it, to try it once, and then make a decision on how you would move on with it. I think our other why is it has no side effects. So Tylenol by itself, it tells you it can cause liver damage. Just imagine how much Tylenol people consume in a household. Tylenol can cause liver damage, and we take it like a candy without really thinking about the side effects. And then eventually people turn 40, 50, they tell you your liver is damaged. And then we're like, but I feel healthy. How did that happen? You've been consuming Tylenol your whole life. You know, I was taking ibuprofen. That's what caused my blood disorder.
Yeah.
So they're all the same thing. So there's so many medications with all these side effects. Do we really need that when we have other options? So the question is, if we have other options, what should we choose? The one with all these side effects or the one without side effect that's a sunnah? I think the answer is pretty clear.
Yeah, 100%. How early can you start hijama?
So that's a great question. So the ones who do hijama, they do it on their kids. It's their kids. They have that comfort level to do it. Now, it depends on what's going on with that child. If that child is not severely sick, I would say don't do hijama on them. So, for example, my kids, they just use the cup and play around like they do the dry cupping.
Yeah.
My daughter has even done it on her face, went to school, and her teachers are like, what did you do? She's like, oh, I just cupped my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for her, it's like fun. I'm like, you cannot do that. Don't do that. It raises questions.
Yeah.
Because it does discolor your skin temporarily, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
But most people, they do it from 10. Some people do it maybe above that. It all depends on what's going on with that child. If it's a 16-year-old who is sick, I would say absolutely do it.
Yeah, 100%. What are some examples that you can give me of outside of migraines, which migraines is a huge thing and very common, but other underlying health disorders that you've seen hijama work so effectively with the clients that you've worked with, or just in general through your research?
So what I've seen a lot of for the women, back pain.
Yeah.
Like so many women have back pain from epidural.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even from epidural. Sometimes it's shoulder pain from sitting long hours at the computer. It becomes so severe that when you touch some people, you just touch them, they're like, I'm in pain. And they leave. They're completely different person. So those are the things, when I see that happen, I'm like, subhanallah, this is the blessing from Allah. We need to use this more. We really need to use this more.
Yeah.
And for me, and I'm not saying everybody who does not have money to call me, for me, if you come to me, you tell me, I really need this, but I don't have the money. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't want money to be the barrier. Yeah. So speaking of money, and this is why I feel this is something we all need to be behind, so that when we start talking to, let's say, the Mayo Clinics of the world, the United Health Groups of the world, to cover this as part of the insurance,
yes,
they will then answer us. They will then say, well, how many people are really utilizing this already? Because if we do not have something to say, well, out of 100,000 Muslims, 50,000 of them are already paying for it out of their pocket. And these people are already paying for an insurance. Why can't you cover it? And we can put pressure on them to cover it. For me, that's ultimately my goal, to really work on getting this approved and covered by the insurance companies as a holistic medicine, just like acupuncture.
Yeah, and that's part of advocacy, is a huge part. So have you started?
I have started. Okay. I have started. So I went to a network event recently, which was not supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be a job fair, and I knew these companies would be there. And for me, I just took advantage of it. Good. And I just went and spoke to the different tables. So I did speak to somebody from the Mayo Clinic, from the United Health Group. And the funny thing is, when I asked them, have you ever heard of hijama or even cupping? Most people say no. And it's not new when they say no, because even in our Muslim community, most people have not heard of the word hijama. So I know that a lot of education is still needed to perhaps overcome knowing what it's about and just being able to try it, because if you don't know of something, you would not know to try it, right?
Yeah.
So one thing is education, making sure people know about it. And then the other thing is really advocating that this is pushed to be a holistic form of medicine that's approved by the insurance companies for them to pay for.
That's amazing. I'm curious, is there any clients or, people who can't receive these services?
Very good question. So that's so for example, what we were taught, someone who is pregnant should avoid hijama. And the reason being, when you do hijama, it cleanses you from inside out, and it really takes out toxins out of your body. And if we know pregnancy can be very, very vulnerable, and based on what time you are in the pregnancy, we do not want it to feel like it's toxin it's removing out of the body. It's to keep the baby safe. We would say do not have hijama when you're pregnant. If you have a broken bone, I would say do not do hijama, just because hijama does not fix a broken bone. You need to see somebody else to actually fix that bone. But perhaps with the pains that come afterwards, you can use hijama for that pain, but the bone itself cannot be healed through hijama.
Okay, that's a good answer. Yeah, and that makes sense. So now kind of more, I want to hear more about your entrepreneurial journey, what it was like to, after you studied and you went through the courses and you obtained your license. What was that like for you after? What did you have to figure out?
So when I did the course, I had a full-time job. I had a good paying job for that matter. And I really was not going for hijama because of money or anything. It was just something that touched my heart that I wanted to do. I really just wanted to do it, learn it. And my mom herself has chronic back pain. And I'm like, even if this is just for my mother, it's worth it, because we have done everything that we can possibly do. Acupuncture, acupressure, massages, you name it. Everything holistic I have tried with her. It would help for a little bit. And then we're back to square one. I'm like, you know what? In my thought, let me learn this so I can just do it for her, so she does not need to worry about it anymore. So alhamdulillah, she was also the biggest support system I had during the journey. Always just having me practice on her. She was never scared, not once. She's like, oh yeah, come and do it. I mean, she had it done before from the Chinese way. She was not, she supported me, she encouraged me. And so I'll always be grateful for her, not just for having me as a child.
Absolutely, yeah.
So after that, I started practicing at home once I completed my graduation. I started practicing. I created, I had a room in my house where I had a clinic. I bought everything I needed. I started practicing. So just word of mouth. I really did not do a lot of advertising because I still had a full-time job. It was more in the evenings or weekends. And I have 5 kids, so I had to balance that. So it was not very easy. So actually it was this year. Wow, why does it feel like it's been last year?
This year has 5 years in it, so I don't blame you.
This year has been a lot.
Yeah,
this year has been a lot. So Rise had the incubator that they posted about, that few people who had entrepreneurial skills or entrepreneurial dreams that would apply for to be part of a cohort. And I applied. Truly, I thought I was in, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what gave me that confidence. And then they sent me an email that unfortunately only 12 people were accepted. Unfortunately, I did not make it. Maybe the next time. I felt sad. I'm like, really? I really want this so much, because I know I'm doing it, but I need guidance on really doing it as a business, because I need to get out of my shell. I need to help more people, and I need to make it big, and I need to know how to, because I was an employee.
Yeah.
I was not an entrepreneur. And so lo and behold, a few days later, they called me and said, well, number 12 dropped off and you were number 13 and you made it into the cohort. I was so grateful. I was so grateful, and I will always be so grateful to Allah for doing that, and for Rise for accepting me in there. They could have just said, okay, we'll go with the 11 then instead, but they pulled in one more person, and it was me. And as you would know, others may not know, they had a seed money for that person. And the seed money was supposed to go to the winner of, I guess, the person who did the most work and
Yeah.
who did the most progress. I don't know exactly how they declared a winner, but they did. And the seed money was supposed to go to that person. As Allah would have it, the person who was not supposed to be in the cohort won the seed money.
Wow.
And they tripled the seed money.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. So they call it the what's the word? They call it the Cinderella
Oh,
story.
yeah.
They call it the Cinderella story.
And by the way, I was there to witness all of it, and it was so beautiful to
yes,
see.
I really cried because I was not expecting to be the win. I was just so grateful to be there.
To be there.
That was
Yeah.
everything. Everything I learned in that 8 weeks changed me as a person, changed me as an entrepreneur, changed everything I thought I knew, just everything. So I was just so grateful to be there. And then I had lost my niece the day before. And then it was just so
Yeah.
many emotions at once. And I was really not expecting to be the winner, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I went there every weekend knowing that this was a chance that Allah gave you. Just, you have to give it 1000%. And that's what was my attitude. I was not
Yeah.
supposed to be there. And I was given the chance. I had to make use of it. And that's what I was doing. But they said, I won.
You deserved it. You
And
100%
I am so grateful.
deserved it. Yes.
I am so grateful.
Yeah. What were some key takeaways that you had from the incubator?
Well, the incubator, one of the things that happened during the incubator, I created my brick and mortar outside of my house, which was the biggest thing, I think.
Huge.
Doing that was huge. Getting a space for my business, and then now having clients come to that space, buying everything I needed for the space, decorating and doing everything I needed. And I started seeing clients before the incubator ended. That was a huge milestone for me. I did not go into the incubator imagining any of that. So for all of that to happen, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. So you were part of the people who taught us classes. And I can tell you, when I was asked, who did I benefit from the most? I could not choose because every single person gave us so much.
Yeah.
Gave us so much. There's no way I could choose one above the other just because all of it is so valuable and has been so valuable. And I'm still implementing. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of information that I'm still trying to implement.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to implement day by day, adding more, and doing everything I possibly can to make you all proud.
And you are. And that's why you got the seed money, because I think, the sisters really saw how determined you were and how you actually were. And I'm not saying everybody else was as well, but you were so determined to apply all the knowledge that you learned. And we knew that, that seed money will triple, quadruple, and turn into so much more for you soon. So I'm really, really happy that you were able to be part of that cohort, and how involved and how curious, and how till today you continue to seek knowledge and ask questions. And I think that's the most important part of not just being an entrepreneur, but learning is so important, so valuable. No matter, someone said, interviewed one of the biggest, millionaires and billionaires, and they're like, what's the most rich asset that you have? And they said information. Information is the most expensive thing that I own.
That is true.
And nothing can beat that.
That is true.
Yeah, I love that.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. And it's up to you to find out. No one's, the answers. Yes, I mean, sometimes the answers might fall on your lap, but 9 out of 10 times you have to go and seek it.
You have to seek that knowledge. That is so true.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you have a brick and mortar.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the brick and mortar, again, I started the brick and mortar during the incubation, and I feel a lot more comfortable as well because it's not in my house. So my house, I always had that feeling my kids had to be quiet. I had to kind of, just juggling it in my house was not the most ideal thing to do. And I realized I just needed a brick and mortar. And since I opened the brick and mortar, I have to say, Alhamdulillah, the biggest source of referral has been word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like every single person who comes will bring another person. So alhamdulillah that, because if you don't like something, you're not going to refer your closest family member to come and do it. And I just need to get that net to be wider and wider and wider. Inshallah, I
Yes.
think the business will be okay.
Yeah.
So I have very big dreams for it, but that's all in the future.
Inshallah.
And I'm just going day by day. I stopped my 9 to 5. I'm giving
Wow.
this my all. I know I've lost money momentarily. I trust Allah that this is what I need to do. And I'm giving it my all.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, I feel blessed. I don't
Yes.
have what I used to have, but I feel so blessed because when I see a client who comes in pain and leaves smiling and making dua for me, those duas, even if it just takes me to Jannah, that's all I need.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, I feel so blessed and my life has been enriched so much more.
Yeah, and that's why you're going to be successful because
Inshallah.
you're doing it, inshallah, from the bottom of your heart. And you're
Inshallah.
doing it because you genuinely want to change lives.
Yes.
And a lot of our people in health, someone I can think of like Dr. Sebai, a lot of his teachings were very holistic and very natural, and it cured so many diseases that exist in this world today. And I think when you implement those type of impactful changes, I mean, it will get you far,
Sure.
So yeah, I'm excited. We're definitely, and this is part of growing the knowledge, your business. So make sure that you guys book her. How can we find you and how can we book you?
You can book in many different ways. So I can be found on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook. What else? You can Google us. We're on Google. Some
Website.
people have started giving us Google reviews.
Okay.
You can book via the website, which is www.hijamaholistichealth.com.
I'll make sure I put that in our
Okay.
bio. Yeah.
So it takes you straight to our booking page. You can book your appointment there, or you can call us. Our number is 612-919-1788. You can text, call, whatever works for you.
I love
and
it.
then we can do the booking for you.
Absolutely. And outside of cupping, you also offer other services.
Yes, we offer massage services and we offer dry cupping services as well.
Okay. I'm excited to try, and I'll be giving my testimony, so you'll hear from me, inshallah. And then just to be clear that you work only with sisters, but you can provide, if there is a brother who wants to provide the services, you have a network of a brother
Yes,
that
we have
can
network of people who we can call in to offer those services.
to offer those services.
Yes.
And where is your brick and mortar?
My brick and mortar is in Brooklyn Center off Brooklyn Boulevard. So it's 7022 Brooklyn Boulevard.
Amazing.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such helpful information, and I loved hearing your journey and your story. We love to end each episode with what's one piece of advice that you could give to your viewers, whether it's in terms of health or entrepreneur or whatever it is, something you can leave our viewers with.
Pray your salah. Because the first thing will be asked on the day of judgment. And when you die, the first thing you'll be asked is about your salah.
Yeah.
Make your salah. If your salah is right, your heart is right, everything else becomes right. And if anything is wrong with your salah, you'll get back to where you need to get to.
I love that. That's definitely amazing advice.
Alhamdulillah.
Well, thank you so much, Binta. And we always say we love to touch base again a few months from now, a year from now. But you know where to find her, and we'll make sure that we add all the links for, where to reach you and how we can book you.
Thank you so much, Yusra, for inviting me. I truly enjoyed this. And this was my first ever podcast, and I feel like I'm sitting with Oprah herself.
No, not at all. Well, you made this interview so easy. I would think that this is your 100th. Like, you ran this, so mashallah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.